It isn't so much that it didn't occur, I just attempted to push ahead yet past it is spread reports about you all yet, folks. I genuinely want to believe that I expect another wild story, since this data will stun you profoundly deeply. So you definitely know how odd the things in Hollywood are. Nevertheless, stand by till you hear Keke Palmer's genuine disclosure about her sweetheart and the dad of her child kid Darius Jackson, who additionally goes by Darius Dalton, and wound up in a fairly fruity circumstance after his experience with, in any case, Diddy and Kiki. Says this experience scared this man for the rest of his days. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Celeb Live channel. So Diddy's name has long turned into an equivalent for another unpleasant dramatization. And Kiki isn't the principal well-known person who transparently discusses the music tycoon Flinch's commendable preference for men. And it seems like she was unable to remain quiet when the tales about her sweetheart Darius Dalton being seriously damaged by the experience with the music magnate filled the virtual entertainment, like you realize keeping all that calm. I think the fact of the matter is simply it turned out to be more challenging to conceal, much to our dismay, about cryptic Darius Jackson. Yet you know that since he and Kiki had opened up to the world about their sentiment, she said only the expressions of commendation about this individual, calling him the best accomplice she had at any point had on the freshest episode of her child. This is Keke Palmer digital recording. The star shared her considerations on dating and why Jackson and her were a solid match. As the star said, she acknowledges each side of her sweetheart and doesn't actually mind him showing female characteristics. I generally needed a man that was not so excessively fixated on being manly, you understand what I mean. Actually had manly energy, yet in addition, invited the delicate quality that laddie-like energy can give. Well, the proclamation made a ton of eyebrows in the Broadway raise, in light of the fact that the insights concerning this Darius fellow are as yet not satisfactory, yet evidently as Kiki tired to imply he wouldn't fret going either way. And here's something else you ought to be aware of this man. Before I interface all dabs in the story for you, so be it. And the fact of the matter is no one is doing great. So regardless of having a solid relationship and being revered by her recently found love, there's something that Kiki can hardly hold on to impart to the world. This is truly the way in which her sweetheart figured out how to escape monetary obligation while acting in Kiki. Darius was somewhat an unheard of in the business. And folks, he was frantic to become famous, proceeding, turning into Kiki's Bo Jackson, plunged his toes into YouTube, where his channel arrived at 19,000 devotees at one point, yet it disliked the person could brag procuring far more than Kiki. I'm unobtrusive about it anyway. What compels Kiki except that her dear sweetheart was some way or another engaging in some obscure association with Diddy? Is the way that in the past the music head honcho had the option to save some exceptionally unmistakable celebs from getting broke, yet the cost for this help was higher than you can envision. And obviously, obligation required specific blessings. Consequently, if you catch my drift, we had a good time, we saw it, didn't feel right, you understand what I'm talking about, it didn't last a long-term trial. So I imply that is my reality, you understand what I'm talking about. Well, Diddy has a background marked by exploiting men who are battling monetarily, and assuming you in all actuality do a little research, you will find more obscure charges of the music big shot being driving capable yet unfortunate men into offering unique courtesies to puff, like that anecdote about Mike Tyson, who had figured out how to lose every one of his billions out of 2003 and pronounced a liquidation. And this is where he met Diddy, and his fortune returned to him gradually. Not individuals were conjecturing whether the Iron Mike needed to offer anything for Diddy, and what sort of courtesies the music big shot requested to assist the previous fighter with escaping the monetary pit. Well, neither Mike nor Diddy at any point freely talked about this yet, It's not hard to surmise that, with regards to tremendous aggregates counterfeit, there's no other person who can help except for quicker than Diddy, whose flow total assets is 900 million bucks Tyson, immediately wound up in the organization of the business magnate, regardless of all the discussion of his influence games and other unseemly things he'd been doing with men behind the shut entryways. Yet it seems like Mike wouldn't fret, as long as he could stop his set in neediness. I never am truly stressed over how individuals will treat me in light of the fact that while it stays muddled whether Mike and Diddy were truly engaged with any sort of movement, despite fighters' desire to the contrary, there is no question that Diddy's particularly male craftsman, and everybody heard the insane anecdotes about his wild gatherings for men just seen putt brushes, has been in the music business for north of 30 years. And during this time there has been gossip that he hosts facilitated all-men gatherings, causing fans to estimate on the off chance that this is only a reason to draw male craftsmen into his home and control them to play out a few oral blessings in return for abundance, cash, and distinction. As one individual remarked, "I wouldn't entrust Puff Daddy with those beady eyes. He generally looks dubious. This man is infamous. He understands how he treated that multitude of individuals around us. He will endure toward the end." And another client added, "Remember how detestable and devilish Hollywood is in all cases. And it doesn't begin with scene comes. And this kind of conduct doesn't end with him. That's right, that is valid, that Diddy isn't the main obscure figure in the business. Yet he is perhaps of the most safeguarded individual in the entertainment biz. And regardless of him being engaged with so much individuals as Mike Tyson and Darius Jackson, reality stays concealed for a really long time. Yet did he transparently discusses his approaches to working with individuals. And since he views himself as a finance manager, clearly you need to offer something as a trade-off for his time and help to find a new line of work. How would they find a new line of work? Like, are you serious? It's a very much secret mystery in the business that Diddy isn't restricting himself by tossing shocking gatherings and baiting youthful gifts to his room. In the event that you open Google, you will find the horde of articles where individuals blame the music head honcho for a few improper exercises, including celebrities, and keeping in mind that some of them go there readily for others, like Darius Jackson, Usher, Justin Bieber, and perhaps Will Smith. There's no decision in their relationship with Diddy left them scarred for life throughout the long term. The music maker has denied every one of the bits of hearsay, guaranteeing that these are misleading complaints. It has been pessimistic promulgation put out about me that is false, yet with more openness coming. It seems like he can't take cover behind his influence impact and millions any longer. As Keke Palmer said, it's the ideal opportunity for reality to surface. So many others could recuperate in the wake of having that terrible involvement in Diddy, and her sweetheart Darius would be among the primary fearless individuals to freely recognize how the music magnate maneuvers frantic spirits toward taking an interest in undesirable exercises to her. It was a stunning disclosure, too. And clearly Darius was attempting to conceal his relationship with the music magnate for his relationship with Kiki. As long as I don't realize, then everything is great overall. And as it was a marvelous disclosure for Kiki, it appears as though she was so stunned by the things that Darius went through that she chose not to quiet about the entire thing. And that is the reason.